Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan You Know's podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod. Rod, what are you hot about tonight?
I'm hot about the number of Indianapolis 316 t-shirts that the WWE decided to roll to Indianapolis with, man. Come on. They put that up at the beginning of the thing. I probably should have just ordered it the minute I saw that, decided to try a little bit later, and they were sold out. So thank you, WWE, for apparently bringing only 100 Indianapolis 316 shirts to your wonderful Smackdown event on Friday, Veterans Day, November the 11th.
And thank you for listening, everyone, to the Yeah We Know podcast. At Yeah We Know Pod, yeahweknowpod@gmail.com. Send us your questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. And Rod, we went to Smackdown on Friday, and let me tell you one thing. That was a hell of a time, wasn't it?
I really enjoyed myself. I had not been to a live WWE show in quite a while. I had never been to a show before that was taped. Being in the presence of the arena when the music pops and the pyro goes off, there is nothing quite like it. But you miss the commentators. We have a tendency to sometimes make fun of those guys more than we realize the help they bring to a match. And when all you hear are backs hitting the floor and then just random audience members yelling out stuff behind you, it's a lot different than hearing Michael Cole weave a nice thread through a match.
So there were 7 of us together. It was my sister and my 2 kids. Who have all been to – my sister's been to a WrestleMania before. My kids have been to a couple of shows, but they've been to a Smackdown before. And then your wife, the Mrs. Morgan You Know, and Vanimal, who you hear in front of the podcasts whenever you decide to do one from the Morgan You Know, they were there. And it was their first experience at all, period, in a wrestling event. And I know one thing that they mentioned, your wife, especially the Mrs. Morgan You Know, said, wow, the commentators – you don't hear anything. It's so strange. And that is something that is a lot different for people, for sure.
I enjoyed that they get their moment, though, that they have their own like walk down music at the beginning of the show. I kind of like that. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. And Michael Cole got a big pop, as he should. He's an absolute WWE Hall of Famer, a legend. So it was nice to at least see him walking down there. And you get more out of Samantha Irvin at a live show than you do on TV because you really are relying on the ring announcer to keep you updated with everything. So she's quite good at her job. And as you stated, it's much better seeing a live show with matches, and we were overloaded with matches on that 2-hour SmackDown card. So there was a lot of action. But did we see the top level of superstars? I would say no, not really. But we did get to see the Tribal Chief, and we did get to see 3, I guess you could call them dark matches, but you tell me those are probably going to end up airing somewhere. So overall, it was a good night.
So we were lucky enough, depending on if you wanted to get out of there or not, to watch the Tribute to the Troops taping, where we had 3 additional matches, including a main event that was extremely the 6-man tag. It was extremely good. The thing that I came out of this was the last SmackDown my kids and I went to was a couple months before the Kofi Mania match at WrestleMania, and there was so much talking on that event that it got kind of boring at the end. Well, we had absolutely no talking. I think we saw 9 matches that night, and it was a lot of fun. The audience there, the crowd, was pretty full. They do have a little bit of the hard cam side top level blacked out. But other than that, it was a full house, and we were in the upper section, the 200 level section. Not really a bad seat in the house at all, was it?
No, I liked it up there.
Yeah.
I will say that it looked like the place was definitely packed to the brims, but I'd say we probably could have gotten a ranking as a lower energy crowd. I don't know that we had any huge pops for anything. I think people were a little bit confused by the Viking Raiders pop, right? I don't think enough people in the building knew who she was, and including me, and I've done a wrestling podcast now for 2 years. And I think we got a bit of a Sheamus pop, right? That's the first time we'd seen Sheamus in a couple of weeks. So, it was exciting to see him back. I know you were sitting right next to me, and I popped up for a lot of moments. A couple surprised me, including I was way fired up for Shotzi and was fired up to see that she won that match.
Yeah, that was one of the I guess lower points of the show. The match wasn't very good, but Shotzi did get the win, and she's going to get a chance to go against Ronda at Survivor Series. We're going to talk about Shotzi here in a little while, too. But I think the overall experience was really good. Getting in and out of the arena was pretty easy from my perspective. We got there a little earlier than you did, but I thought that was pretty easy. A lot of people had trouble with seats, and I always love going to these events just to see the humanity that is there that has difficulty figuring out what section you're in and everything like that. I know it's hard, but I hadn't been there in like a decade, and we were able to figure it out. But there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on.
You're smarter than the average bear, though, Jim. So let's give you all the credit in the world here. And they make it awfully dark. It is awfully dark up there
Yes.
when you start getting into the 200 level. I mean, even when the
That's
the
valid.
opening
That's valid.
the opening dark match between Humberto Carrillo and Drew Gulak, it was even kind of dark in there when people were trying to roll in for that match. So
We love some Drew Gulak, don't we? I forgot about that match. That's like 10 matches we saw. So the opening match between Usos and Kofi and Xavier was a pretty good match overall. Not one of their better ones, but still top 5, 6.
Wait a minute.
Told
now.
a
You
great
disagreed
story.
with the crowd on that one. The crowd started chanting, "This is awesome," and you looked over at me and you're like, "Is it awesome or is it just long?"
Yeah, it was a good match. I mean, it wasn't awesome, but it was a really good match. Told a good story, and the Usos retained. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then we had the World Cup matchups, and I thought that was a nice little I guess extra thing to do with the World Cup, but then also having the Intercontinental Championship being a part of that, where you do get the number one contender shot was good. Santos Escobar and Nakamura. They were in a tough spot because it was after a really, really solid match and a long match, but I thought they did a decent job together.
You're going to have to be the only one to speak to this one. This is the perils of parenthood. The Vanimal decided that he had to use the restroom and get himself a beverage at this point. So the only moment that I could say I was a little bummed out that I missed was the entrance of one Shinsuke Nakamura. I would have liked to have been in the building and popped for Shinsuke's electric guitar when he came down to the ring, but I was back in the bowels of the Gamebridge Fieldhouse trying to find the Vanimal a hot pretzel and a Pepsi.
Your curly hair went underneath to go to get food when Nakamura's music hit, and your curly hair reappeared after the match was over. I thought that was like exactly, you were gone exactly for the match. Like you
but
said,
I didn't think I was too bummed out missing Santos Escobar. But as you stated, we're going to get to some mid-carders here a little bit later. I'll have some more thoughts on him.
Exactly. So we had the 6-pack challenge. A very bad botched table splat at the end kind of took down the match a little bit, but we did have Shotzi winning. Give her a shot. I don't think she's anything special, but we'll give her a shot there. The first of 2 Braun Strowman matches we saw. The second one was a little surprising, but Braun Strowman beat Jinder Mahal pretty quickly there in the World Cup.
The second one was way better. The first one was a joke.
Yeah, the first one was bad. B-Fab and Zelina Vega did not wrestle. The Viking Raiders came out and destroyed everybody. Sarah Logan made her re-debut as, well, someone who looks a lot like an indie wrestler, but that's okay. We'll talk. We can talk about that another time. And then the Bloodline came out. It's going to be the Bloodline against the Brutes, McIntyre, and somebody else to be named for War Games. So
I'm
overall,
bummed out about that. I got to admit, I'm surprised that Roman's going to be at War Games, and I'm a little bummed out that that's our match. I love the Brutes, but it just kind of seems as if we're throwing them into this because they're like, who gets pops right now? The Brutes do. Who's our best thing? The Bloodline. Okay, that's the War Games match. And I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm all for that, Jimmy. Your thoughts?
Well, it depends on who the extra person is, too, because it was rumored that it was going to be Kevin Owens, but then Kevin Owens, I think, hurt himself at a house show, a little knee situation, so we're not sure how much he's out. Because if Kevin Owens is in there, having a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, that little back and forth there could be interesting to see how the end of the match happens. But the good news is, hopefully, we're not going to get any interference in this match because everyone's in the match, so that'll be good.
That's true. You can't have the honorary Uso or Solo Sikoa or the Jimmy and Jay involved with the Tribal Chief because they're all on his team. So I get that. But yeah, the 5th competitor is really going to be interesting because clearly we have some sort of muck-up between Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley and Mustafa Ali and Austin Theory. So that takes all of those guys off the table. Then you start running down some other guys from SmackDown. What are you going to put a Gunther in there? What are you going to? I mean, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. And then something that was pretty neat is LA Knight was doing an interview backstage, and Bray Wyatt appears, and LA Knight gets back in his face, and Bray Wyatt headbutts him. Very interesting. I really like what they're doing there with LA Knight. I think that was pretty neat. What were your thoughts on that one?
I don't understand. I mean, I guess Bray Wyatt's supposed to be this kind of nightmare guy, and at this point, he definitely is a thing of my nightmares because I'm coming around on Alexa Bliss, and it seems as if he's going to suck her back into her weird, twisted vortex. And LA Knight just appears onto my screen because I don't watch NXT, so I'm aware that he was a big time deal in NXT, but he just appears on my screen as LA Knight after a stupid run as Max Dupree. I'm starting to buy him with the LA Knight, and let me talk to you. And now we're gonna suck him into Bray Wyatt world, Jimmy. I'm really bummed out. And again, Bray Wyatt still hasn't wrestled anybody, but I guess he gave out a headbutt, so I have to give him some partial credit.
So what we're going to do today is this is kind of a good time right before War Games to reset and see where we are on a lot of different people. Now, we kind of know where we are with the main eventers. We're not going to go that far.
We talk about the main eventers all the time.
We talk about them a lot. So we're going to hit – there may be a main eventer in here, one or two. But we're going to go with kind of what you like to do. We're going to say, are you in on somebody? Are they on watch, meaning they could pretty much go either way? Are they on notice, which means you've got one shot, and then you're going to be out. You're completely out on this person. They are not doing it for you. Okay?
Correct. You don't. Here's the thing. You don't really want to be on watch or on notice, but on notice is much worse than being on watch.
All right. I'm going to start off with the Miz, Rod. Where are you right now with the Miz? I'm throwing a main eventer right at you here.
Listen, I love that you did that because, frankly, this is the one that I have to do the biggest mea culpa on. You're going to have to refresh my memory, but we had a correspondent one time, early days of the podcast, a cousin of yours who went to a show once, and he reported,
Yes.
was it cousin? What was cousin's name?
Cousin Bill, yeah.
Cousin Bill, I have to apologize to you, sir. I banned you from this podcast and said that you and I would have words if we ever came on together because you talked down the Miz, and I now have to retroactively apologize for that because I will talk down the Miz anytime, okay? I'm sick of the Miz. I understand the world that he lives in where he does a lot of appearances for the WWE on talk shows and Dancing with the Stars and Jeopardy and things of that nature, and that raises their Q rating, but the man can no longer wrestle. And as you informed me, he never really could wrestle.
Nope.
But now it's even more glaring because he's just slower. He seems to really be afraid to get himself hurt and all the above. So I am absolutely 100% unequivocated out on The Miz.
Wow. Okay, well, I kind of agree. I've always kind of been out on the Miz. He's good at talking. He's good at getting beaten up, but that's enough. We don't need too much more than that. So the Miz you are out on. Let's go with someone we've mentioned already, Alexa Bliss. What are you thinking on Alexa Bliss now? I think she could go either way. Is that where you're heading with her?
I'm staying within on Alexa Bliss at the moment, but she is very, very close to dipping into on watch if they suck her back into the Bray Wyatt world. But right now, I'm in totally on Alexa Bliss.
All right. Somebody else. Let's go Riddle. Your boy Riddle had a really kind of meteoric rise with Orton, continued up, going against Rollins. Now he's going against Chad Gable, Otis. Where are you with Matt Riddle?
Here's what I want to say. I want to break my own arm patting myself on the back here because one of our brilliant promos for this very podcast laid down by our super producer, Jimmy Jamriska, has me saying something where I remind Jimmy, are they chanting RKO or are they chanting Randy? When we ranked all our superstars, and Jimmy tried convincing me that we needed to rank RK Bro as a team, and sure we did. But what I tried to make sure to tell him is that team had way more to do with Randy Orton than it had to do with Matt Riddle, and now we are all slapped in the face with that. Riddle's bringing bongos out to the ring. He's still riding the scooter. He's even more high than normal. He's in matches with way low mid-card guys. I'm not going to go out on Riddle, and I'm not going to put him on notice, but he is definitely on watch.
Okay, I think that's probably a good call there. Riddle is somebody who's got all the talent in the world, but he can still get in trouble a lot, and there's still some things going on with him, so they may not want to go all the way with him.
And you also said the comedy's tough to pull off in the WWE, and they frankly haven't figured anything else out with him other than comedy, or I'm really mad at Seth Rollins for saying things about my personal life.
For sure, and Vince McMahon was all about the comedy, and Triple H hasn't really been as much, so that's something to consider as well. Speaking about someone you can go the whole way with, what about Hit Row and B-Fab, Rod?
Out, absolutely out. I have no idea, Jimmy. I think Hit Row could show up in my backyard with a $5,000 check to present to my family, and I'd still be out on them.
Okay, I kind of figured that one. I'm very interested in this next one. Your boy, Baron Corbin.
Man, you are coming after my heart on that one, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got to talk this one out for a second, all right?
Okay.
Happy Corbin, huge fan, all right? Baron Corbin, less fan. The combination of Happy and Baron, even less of a fan. But
With JBL.
But the Baron Corbin that had a suit on with the black hat, sitting next to JBL at the table, bringing back some APA vibes, I'm in on that. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to give Baron Corbin his very own distinction. Baron Corbin is the one person in the company smack dab in the middle between On Watch and On Notice.
So he's on Corbin, apparently?
He's on Corbin, exactly. Thank you, Jimmy. He's on Corbin. And here's what I'll tell you. I am in on JBL.
Oh, you're in on a jerk to people? Okay.
Absolutely. Love JBL. Love
Shocking
JBL
that
coming to the
you would be in on
ring.
someone who's a jerk to... No, I'm just joking.
No, not love JBL doing the old school heel thing, just coming to the ring and talking down whatever city he's in and just absolutely talking down small dudes. I mean, honestly, how often do I get on here and essentially talk down small dudes and talk about how it's all about the big men? So how can I be out on JBL?
Well, let's talk about one of those small dudes, Johnny Gargano.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in on Johnny Gargano.
Nice. All right.
You know those like whirling dervish curlicue roller coasters? That's what I've done with Johnny Gargano in a few short weeks. I was completely out on him. Then he was on Notice. Now I'm just completely in on him. But I will say this. I need a viable foil for Johnny Gargano.
Exactly.
I need a
It's not the
viable
Miz.
foil.
Yeah, it's not the Miz for sure. And I do and I'm not just saying this because you're my tag team partner here. I appreciate the fact that you can admit when you are completely and utterly wrong, but change your mind. No, it is nice.
I was
see,
though.
'cause
You're
you've
right.
done
He's
both.
very
Yeah.
interesting. He's great behind a mic, and he seems to be very good at servicing a story angle, which a lot of guys miss. Right? They talk around it. They make it very unclear what they're actually trying to get across. Gargano gets across what we need to get across, and then we're moving on. I dig that about him.
All right, let's just finish out this feud. Dexter Loomis.
Love Dexter Loomis. I'm in on Dexter Loomis.
I can't believe you and I are. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people aren't, but just the way his face is fantastic.
It's so perfect.
I don't ever, and they're like, well, he's got to get in the ring. No, he doesn't. Never let him wrestle. Done.
Absolutely not.
Just let
Keep
him do
doing this with Dexter wrestle. Yeah, he can keep getting involved with people. Like he
Just be
keeps
in the
losing
back,
his contract.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just be in the back, just not even feud with anybody. Just have him stand in the back, staring at somebody, and then move on to the next one. I love that.
Like popping up out of trash cans, and then like he just ducks right back down in the trash can. You know what I mean? Good comedy stuff like that. Then he gets a match every couple of Smackdowns. If he wins this, he gets a contract. And no, Dexter Loomis loses again. Like, come on, I'd buy that for a little while.
I like that a lot. So let's talk about a couple of females who made their returns, sort of here. We have Nikki Cross, the new Nikki Cross, Rod. How are you feeling on Nikki?
On Notice. I don't like. Listen, here's what I don't like. Okay, if you don't want to be here, then don't be here. Okay, like I understand they're trying to get across that she's a bit unhinged and all she wants to do is just wear people out. But if you like drag her down to the ring and she's just staring up into the rafters and like standing around for no reason, like if you don't want to be bothered to be involved with the wrestling matches, then don't be in our wrestling company. So she's on Notice for me.
All right, then how about Mia Yim, who has the new name? It's Mia Yim.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that because you're the one telling me that Triple H always wants people just to go by their regular name, and then now here she comes in and they're giving her some different name. But I got to say, I'm sort of in because she's got the most personality out of anybody in the OC at this point. That even includes AJ Styles, and I'm sorry to say that.
All right, so you don't like Anderson and Gallows then, correct?
The biker accountants? Is that who we're speaking about here, Jimmy?
The biker accountants. How are you there?
Yeah. So again, let me get this straight. You got some big strong guys with tattoos, and their gimmick is they like to drink beers. Wow, original. Sign me up for the OC.
So what are they?
They're on Notice. I won't put them out quite yet, but they're on Notice.
Biker accountants. Everyone knows who that is. L.A. Knight. Yeah.
So in on
Nice.
LA Knight. So in on LA Knight, but he will officially move quickly to On Notice, right? He will skip right over On Watch, and he will quickly move to On Notice if he's wrapped up with Bray Wyatt.
So here's a spoiler alert for those of you listening who care about spoilers. So if you don't, go about a minute and a half ahead. He loses to Braun Strowman pretty convincingly at Tribute to the Troops. Now, he got a couple moves in. I thought that was a weird pairing, seeing what they did with him and Wyatt on SmackDown.
Oh, no.
I was confused on that one.
Well, I mean, but now that you got me thinking, aren't they going to then, LA's going to be a little down on his luck, and, Bray's going to say, hey, come with me, and I could turn this around for you? Is it maybe that where they're trying to head this?
Yeah, but I don't see. It's interesting to see LA Knight going to like a darker side though, because he just. I mean, how many gimmicks can you have in a 6 week time frame?
That's true. Because I like LA Knight, and I mean, I just think that like you need guys who are pretty good on the mic. And let me talk to you. I mean, he's good.
I love that. He's fantastic. I think he's doing great, and his in-ring work is not bad either, which I think is really good.
Yeah, I think he's got some cool moves in there, right? Like he can do some top rope stuff, but then he's got some power moves in there, and that's if you can do some top rope stuff, show some athleticism, and pull off power moves, kind of what I used to think Shawn Michaels could do. Sure, then you're a good wrestler in my boat.
Okay, so someone else who's got a really good entrance, good gimmick, but not probably as good in the ring, Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I know the fans in Peoria are out, but how about you?
Whew, man, some of these are cut right to the heart.
Yeah.
I know I gave Baron Corbin his own specific thing, and I'm not going to do that with Karrion Kross. I'm not going to do that with
Is Karrion Kross on Corbin as well?
No, but what I will say is Karrion Kross is just a little further to the right of the On Corbin to On Watch, unfortunately, but not quite on notice.
I kind of have to agree with you on that. We need to see what's going to happen next in the McIntyre, after the McIntyre.
Yeah, because you're somebody you're swinging at giants, right? So I get that. Okay, Karrion Kross, you want to reset the timeline, you want to be a big deal. I get all of that, but like you said, Jim, who's the next person he's going to swing at? We can't have him go swing at Roman Reigns because he's certainly not going to beat Roman Reigns, and then that makes him look bad. But who's another semi-giant he can swing at? And on the SmackDown set, I don't really know who that is.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Luckily, we have someone doing the booking that knows a couple things, so that's good. Dominic Mysterio.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but just flat in. I loved his little heel run that he did on Raw on Monday night, where he was talking all types of smack to Shelton Benjamin. Much love to Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. And Dolph Ziggler getting trucked out recently to just get beat. Gotta love it when the dudes who are basically paid by the WWE to lose just come out to lose. Always appreciate seeing that. But it was kind of cool that he was talking smack to that dude, but then sort of backing off, like just great heel stuff. Like he's so good at the heel gimmick right now. He's got the fresh mullet look like the kids like. Seems like he might have some interesting moves brewing underneath there. I'm in on Dominic Mysterio.
All right, let's go back to the female competitors here. Shotzi.
So in on Shotzi. Wow, and it's just been organic. Because when they showed up with whoever, Tegan, wasn't that her partner before?
Tegan Knox, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tegan Knox. When they showed up in the tank, I was like, oh, this is dumb. And then I felt like they were trying to force us down the throats a little bit. And then Shotzi had the whole weirdness where she was locking people in the back of the locker room. You know what I mean? I didn't buy any of that, but just Shotzi kept coming around, and like just something about her, man. Enough on the microphone, like. For the females to be able to put all three of those things together, and I think Shotzi's got a little bit of ability in all three, so let's see what she can do. I'm in on Shotzi.
Raquel the Smiling Goddess Rodriguez.
On notice. I wish I could say on watch with her, but she's on notice. I don't buy it. I get that she's big and strong, but I need more.
Yeah, she needs to be a badass. She needs to be a heel. The smiling thing isn't working at all.
But that's the thing, Jimmy. We don't have any idea what we're doing in the women's league across all fronts. We really don't. The women's league is just, I have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly they want to have room for another smiling, big-time white meat baby face on SmackDown. But, I mean, Bianca Belair eats up so much air as that on the women's side. I don't know if you have a room for another one. Because they've already moved Liv Morgan away from being that.
I'm going to give you a softball here. This is for you. This is thanking you for continuing on the Yeah We Know podcast. Rhea Ripley.
Oh, so in on Rhea Ripley. So in on Rhea Ripley. And like the other thing that I love that we've done with Rhea Ripley now is that like she now is feared by the other female wrestlers, and that puts her at such a level when she does get back in the fray and start being an everyday competition for whatever women's belt she decides she wants to mess around with. Like when she walked up to Damage Control, who we're supposed to be scared of, and they sort of seemed like they were scared, and we're just like, oh my God, Rhea wants to wrestle with us. Like, how over does that make Rhea Ripley seem? So I am totally in on Rhea Ripley.
Okay. Last one, Rod. Austin Theory.
Man. I was surprised, Jimmy, to see him back
Yeah.
on Raw immediately after the failed cash-in last week. I thought we'd keep him off of TV for a little while. I'm not incredibly surprised at the story we're trying to tell out of the failed cash-in. I just thought we might try to craft that narrative a little further away from the failed cash-in than immediately the next week. But you could convince me that the story we're now trying to tell with Austin Theory works a little bit, right? You could even convince me that, like, he sort of runs around with a Dolph Ziggler for a little while, right? Somebody else like Dolph Ziggler who is kind of like, okay, I need to learn a couple of things, right? I need to show that I'm a good wrestler and that it's not all about the flash and the, you know what I mean? So I just like a whole lot of opportunities that seem available to them right now. I can't firmly put him in the in, so I will put him in the on watch because I am definitely watching with more of a tint to hopefully put him on the in category than move him to on notice, but I can't put him anywhere other than on watch.
See, I think that's fair because I think I was out on him last week. Like, I'm good. This is his character's not doing anything. He's not going anywhere. At least now they have kind of a direction they want to go. So let's recap here. Rod, you are in on Alexa Bliss, JBL, Johnny Gargano, Dexter Lumis, Mia Yim, LA Knight, Dominic Mysterio, Shotzi, and Rhea Ripley.
Wow, I was on way more people than I thought I'd be. I thought
you were in on a lot of people. This was a very positive show to say. You're on watch, a Riddle and Karrion Kross kind of going on the downward track.
Correct.
But Austin Theory's on watch kind of going on the upward track,
Okay.
so I thought that was interesting. And then you're on notice. We have Nikki Cross, the Biker Accountants, and Raquel Rodriguez. You're out on the Miz and Hit Row B-Fab. Shocking. And then you're on Corbin, on Baron Corbin.
That's nice. All right, well, here, other people that we're in on that are mid-carders didn't get mentioned here, but I mention them all the time. The Alpha Academy, the number one guy,
Sure.
Otis, and Chad Gable, definitely in on them. They're mid-carders that I'm so in on. So I guess I'm more positive on the mid-carders than I am negative, Jim.
Yeah, I think that they have great talent, and they're actually using it. And I did forget my ultimate last one. This is the final one.
Oh,
Triple H.
Triple H. Definitely in on Triple H. I thought you were about to give me Pete Dunne right there, but definitely in on Triple H. Definitely
Pete Dunne's in.
Triple
I don't
H.
even care. You know, Pete Dunne's in.
I think we need to have a few more situations where Triple H pops up on camera, right? I mean, I don't necessarily think it needs to be Triple H announced coming out to the ring and doing a whole thing, but I just think we need a few more little scenarios where Triple H pops up on camera, right? Like something as simple as the DX celebration night. We cut and Triple H is sitting there with the headset on at Gorilla, right? Like that's just a cool little reminder that that's what he does now. We had the brawl between the guys, and like we have a bunch of refs come out, they can't solve it. Triple H comes out looking all swole and starts yelling at people, right? I just think we need a few more scenarios where H comes out on camera and we're all reminded, oh yeah, the guy wants self. Is this on? That's the dude running things these days.
All righty. So we have that. We also have a ton coming up on the Morgan Uno Podcasting Network, Rod. What do we have coming up on Balls and Brew?
Well, the exciting return of one handicapper, formerly known as the Anonymous Gambler, Josh Williams. Those of you that stuck around last week, and we appreciate you for sticking around last week with me, Jimmy, and Chris as we navigated through a train wreck of a Balls and Brew because the internet was not kind to us last week. We had a lot of fun with it, but Josh will be back with us this week. We did a test with him earlier tonight. We can guarantee we will have Mr. Williams, all of his stats, all of his figures, all of his referee stories. They'll be back at you this week on Balls and Brew. And, oh, yeah, some more NBA Fast Break with me, Jimmy, and Chris.
Okay, and with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan You Knows Podcast Network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod.
And I want to just say, people, go to the WWE Live. All right, go to the WWE Live. I don't know how many people in my life sort of gave me a bit of a snicker when I told them that I was going to the WWE Live, and I was just a bit thrown back by that. I thought those days were past us. I thought that us wrestling fans could live out in the open, and it was a big-time deal that a lot of people need to go to, and apparently we're not there yet, but more and more of you need to go because my wife was one of those people who wouldn't have thought she could have any fun at a wrestling show, and she was smiling ear to ear that entire 2 hours. So go check out the World Wrestling Entertainment Experience live. I'm shilling. Give me a job, Hunter.